Amber Collins never imagined she would set foot in Willow Creek, California again. The small coastal town had been many things to her: a childhood home, a battlefield, and finally, a place she was banished from at 19 with nothing but a duffel bag and a fractured heart. Today, after 11 years, she returned not as the helpless girl they discarded, but as one of the youngest self-made millionaires in Silicon Valley. And she walked back into town quietly, like a storm no one saw coming. Her black Lincoln pulled up to the entrance of the Rosewood estate, the upscale vineyard her parents adored, ironically. The same place they once refused to bring her because she didn't fit in. She stepped out, heels clicking against the stone pathway. Her tailored navy suit contrasted the warm glow of the wedding decorations. Soft music drifted through the air, and laughter echoed from inside the venue. Amber's expression remained composed. Not cold, just unreadable. She wasn't here to ruin her sister Lily's wedding. She wasn't here to cause a scene. She was here because the groom, Jason Montgomery, had personally invited her secretly, quietly, intentionally. Lily had no idea Amber was coming. Amber hadn't planned to accept the invitation. She spent nights debating it, pacing her penthouse balcony overlooking San Francisco. But the decision finally came not out of spite, but out of an urge she couldn't quite explain. She simply wanted to exist in the same room where the people who broke her lived, comfortably on lies. She wanted to see if their eyes would flicker when confronted with the life they tried to erase, and God, she wanted to see her sister's reaction. Amber inhaled deeply and entered the venue. The room fell into a delicate silence the moment she walked through the door. It wasn't dramatic, not like the stories people imagine. No gasps, no dropped glasses. Just an almost imperceptible shift, like someone had dimmed the room's temperature by a degree. Her mother, Grace Collins, froze mid-conversation. The color drained from her face faster than wine from an overturned glass. Her father, Robert, stiffened like someone had struck him. Lily wasn't in sight, likely in a bridal suite, preparing for the ceremony. Amber walked in with the calmness of someone who knew she belonged. Anywhere she stood, Jason Montgomery, the groom, spotted her instantly and approached her with a respectful smile. "You came," he said softly. Amber's voice remained steady. "You asked." "Thank you," he replied. "Whatever happens today, it needed to happen." He didn't elaborate. She didn't ask. She had her suspicions. Amber took a seat near the back, present but unobtrusive. That's when the whispers started. "Is that Amber? Robert's daughter? She hasn't been around in years. Didn't she run away?" "No, I heard she..." No one really knows, because her parents never told the truth. What they told everyone, extended family, neighbors, church members, was that Amber chose to leave the family, that she was ungrateful, that she refused to accept responsibility. But they never mentioned what they did. They never mentioned taking her. College fund, the fund she worked for, earned scholarships for, and giving it to Lily so Lily could attend Stanford. They never mentioned throwing Amber out when she protested. They never mentioned the nights Amber spent sleeping in her car outside the community college she enrolled in, juggling 3 part-time jobs. No, they had rewritten history entirely. Amber scanned the room with quiet detachment. And then Lily entered. Lily Collins, now Lily Hastings in waiting, walked in wearing her wedding dress, glowing and oblivious. Her hair framed her delicate features, and her smile filled the room until her eyes landed on Amber. The smile shattered. Her bouquet nearly slipped from her hand. "Amber?" Lily whispered. Stunned out, Amber lifted her chin slightly. "Hello, Lily. What are you doing here?" Lily's voice rose, panic lacing her words. "Mom, Dad, did you invite her?" Jason stepped forward, calm but firm. "I invited her." Lily turned to him in disbelief. "Why would you do that?" "Because she deserved to be here," Jason said. Lily's eyes darted around, noticing the stares. "This is my wedding, Jason, my day. You blindsided me." Amber kept her tone level. "I'm not here to ruin anything." But Lily's face twisted with something sharp: resentment, insecurity, fear. "You shouldn't have come." Lily snapped quietly. Amber simply nodded once. "I expected that." The ceremony coordinator rushed over, urging Lily to stay on schedule. Calming the tension with forced smiles, the wedding proceeded. Amber sat silently as vows were exchanged. She watched as Lily repeated promises of love, partnership, and honesty, words that felt strangely brittle when spoken from someone who had grown up building her life on the sacrifice of another. Amber clapped politely. When they were pronounced husband and wife, she didn't smile. She didn't cry, but inside, something shifted, something she hadn't expected. It wasn't pain. It wasn't anger. It was closure rooting itself quietly in her chest, and she didn't know the storm that was about to hit this family was bigger than anything she planned, not caused by her, but revealed because she dared to exist again. The reception hall buzzed with music and chatter. Lights twinkled overhead, and tables were set with gold-trimmed plates and elegant centerpieces. Amber found her seat, placed strategically at the far edge of the room. Jason had apologized in advance, explaining he didn't want to provoke more conflict. She had shrugged. She didn't care. She was here. That was enough, but trouble, she learned long ago, had a way of finding the truth. As dinner was served, conversations floated her way. "Is she really a CEO? I heard she owns a tech firm." "No, her parents said she never stayed at a job." "Then how is she dressed like that?" Grace Collins from across the room glared at Amber every few seconds. Robert kept drinking, and Lily pretended Amber didn't exist until Jason stood to speak. "I want to thank everyone for being here today," he began warmly. "But before I continue, there's someone in this room who deserves acknowledgement, someone I personally insisted on inviting." Lily stiffened. Jason continued. "Amber Collins." Dozens of eyes turned toward her. "Amber built herself from the ground up," he said, voice steady. "She faced hardships most of us here know nothing about, because the truth of what happened 11 years ago has never been spoken." Grace shot to her feet. "Jason, that's enough." Jason didn't stop. Amber didn't abandon this family. She was thrown out, lied about, discarded. Gasps filled the room. Lily paled. Grace sputtered. "How dare you speak about our family like..." "Because I know the truth," Jason said. "Lily told me everything." The room exploded in whispers. Amber blinked, stunned. Lily had told him? Jason turned to Amber. "You were wronged, and I won't let this family pretend otherwise." Amber felt her throat tighten, but not from weakness. It was the weight of being seen. Lily suddenly pushed up from her chair. "You weren't supposed to say that." "Jason, this is my wedding." Jason's voice softened. "I'm not doing this to ruin anything. I'm doing this because pretending didn't fix the guilt you've been carrying, or the shame. Tears welled in Lily's eyes. Amber, I didn't think you'd ever come back. Amber spoke for the first time. I didn't come back for revenge, she said quietly. I came back because I wanted to see who you became. Lily's tears spilled. I became someone I'm not proud of. This was the unraveling. Quiet, raw, unplanned. Honest Dot and Amber sat in the middle of it. Steady as stone, guests drifted away from their tables, giving the family space but not pretending they weren't listening. Lily wiped her face with shaking hands. I told Jason everything years ago. I couldn't marry him without letting him know what happened. Grace hissed. We did what was necessary to help our daughter succeed. Amber's voice sharpened. I was your daughter. You were difficult, Grace snapped. I was 19. Robert slammed his glass down. This is not appropriate, Jason cut him off. You took her college fund? It was our money, Robert barked. No, Amber said quietly. It was money I earned through scholarships and hours of part-time work. You told me you were saving it. Instead, you spent it on Lily. Lily sobbed harder. Amber felt the old pain twist inside her, but it didn't consume her like before. Time had changed her. Survival had changed her. Success had changed her. I worked 3 jobs, Amber said. I slept in my car for months. I ate 1 meal a day sometimes. And you never called? Not once. Grace looked away. I wasn't trying to replace you, Lily whispered. I was scared. I thought if I didn't do what Mom and Dad wanted, they'd hate me too. That hit Amber in a place she didn't know was still tender. Lily continued, voice trembling. I kept telling myself you were stronger, that you'd be okay. But I knew the truth. You shouldn't have had to be strong alone. For the first time, Lily stepped toward her. I'm sorry, she whispered. I've been sorry for 11 years. Amber looked at her sister, seeing not the golden child, not the favorite, but a woman broken under expectations she never chose. Sorry doesn't fix the past, Amber said gently, but it changes the future. Grace muttered under her breath. She always did love drama. Amber turned to her mother slowly. And you always did love control. Grace froze. You don't get to control this moment, Amber said. Not anymore. It wasn't loud. It wasn't cruel. It was powerful, Dot, and Grace flinched because she knew it was true. Later that evening, guests filtered toward the exit. The wedding continued, but the energy had changed. Quieter, more thoughtful, Dot. Lily approached her again. Can I call you? After today? She whispered. Dot. Amber hesitated. Then she nodded. Yes, Lily collapsed into a grateful hug. Jason approached afterward. Thank you for coming. I know this wasn't easy. Amber exhaled. Thank you for telling the truth. Lily needed it, he said. She's wanted to face this for years. Amber glanced at her sister across the room, crying, hugging relatives, shoulders lighter than before. What happens now? Amber asked. Jason smiled softly. Whatever you want. You can reconnect or walk away, but nothing stays hidden anymore. Amber stepped outside into the cool evening air. The sky over Willow Creek was dark blue, almost black, speckled with stars. She felt something uncoil in her chest, an old wound closing. Not because someone healed it for her, but because she finally walked back into the place where it began and faced the truth without fear. She didn't need revenge. She didn't need an apology. She didn't need validation, Dot. She just needed to exist. Again. Quietly, powerfully, and completely on her own terms. Amber walked toward her waiting car. As she reached for the door, she heard footsteps. Dot. It was her father. Amber. He said stiffly. Dot. She turned. He looked older now. Not just in years. His shoulders weren't as straight. His expression not as hard. I don't expect forgiveness, he said. But I'm sorry for everything. Amber studied him. Her father had never apologized to anyone in his life. She nodded once. Thank you. As she got into the car, he added quietly, you became everything we feared and everything we wanted. We were wrong. Amber's breath caught, but only for a moment. Then she closed the door gently. The driver pulled away, and the vineyard grew smaller behind her. She didn't look back, because Amber Collins wasn't returning to her past. She was walking toward her future stronger, freer, and finally at peace. A storm had passed. Not the loud kind. Not the destructive kind. The quiet kind. The kind that clears the sky. And Amber felt sunlight rising inside her for the first time in 11 years. If you like the story, subscribe my channel.